Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Boothe podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Funmi. She is a writer from London, the recent winner of a feature film competition script with Triforce. Where's it again? I know I'm going to get
Triforce Creative Network,
That's it. And also with what production company as well?
Green Acre Films.
There we go. See, that was a mouthful for me. So, congrats again and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be invited as a guest.
I'm happy to have you because we met about, I don't even know, I'm so bad with maths. I think about 8 months ago. Because
I know it's hard to like think about time in the pandemic because really and truly we were free like 4 months ago, but it feels like I don't know, yeah, time is just moving at a weird pace at the moment. But yeah, we kind of met summer last year.
yeah, and the thing is, we met at your cousin, who's my friend's, well, I'd say
Mm.
quarantine house party thing. You know, it was summer, so don't judge. And we was able to be out, and we just got talking. I mean, that room was filled with so many successful people, and when you're in a room
Mm.
like that, you're just gonna talk about your not just like casual stuff, but also your career and stuff like that. And we got to chat in as
Mm.
I'm a producer and you're a writer, and we just kind of like hit it off like that. And then I was able to read one of your scripts called Uni Girls, which I loved, and now look at you. Now you've got this deal. So it's amazing. So can you tell us like more about the competition? How did it come together? How did you know about it? What was the process like?
Yeah, it's really funny because I look back at each stage of the competition. I was thinking how this will be a really good story if I win, and then I turned around and won. Because when I first applied for the competition, this was my maybe like June, July time, and I had like the idea for the film Melanation in my phone
What's the
notes.
title? Sorry.
And it was like really rough. It was something along the lines of a Nollywood inspired film set in an Afro-Nation parody type world. Um, and I had it in my phone notes, and then I was just like, oh, film pitch competition. Well, this is my only feature film idea, so let me go ahead and develop this into a 2-page pitch, which is what we had to apply with, and 10 to 15 pages of script. But everyone who knows me knows that I'm extremely last minute with everything. And so I basically pulled together the 2-page pitch on the weekend. That it was due on that Sunday, and I
Wow.
did it together on the Saturday. And then I was literally writing the 10 to 15 pages of script the few hours before, and I was just rambling, and I literally wrote about 7.5 pages to 10 minutes before the deadline, and I was like, you know what, I spent all weekend on this, I'm just gonna submit it. And then when I found out I made it as a finalist, I was so shocked, but I was just like, oh my god. And it was funny as well because in the stage there was 12 finalists, and they said that they did a workshop with us to help us develop our 2-page pitches again to be like stronger. And they said that some of the 2-page pitches had a good world, but the story itself wasn't very strong. And I knew that was an indirect at me. I knew that I knew that I had such a strong sense of the world of the story, but the actual story itself was a bit all over the place. Um, so I so when I pulled together the 2-page pitch again, I felt like I made it stronger. And then I resubmitted it, and they were going to cut it down to 6 finalists. And then about a few days after I resubmitted it, I had an epiphany that so a key element should be changed, because essentially the couple had just broken up, the main 2 characters. And I changed my mind thinking it would make more sense if they had just, become a couple, without giving too much detail about the plot, although the plot's changed a lot since. Um, and so I just re-pulled together the 2-page pitch without asking them if it was too late, and I sent it to them. And I said to them, I don't know if you made your decision yet. I re-pulled together my pitch because I feel like this makes it stronger. I bullet pointed the reasons why, and I was like, it makes the characters more likable. It makes more sense with their motivations. And I was like, it's my only chance. I'm not gonna let it slip from me. And then and then luckily, then the next round they said that I made it into the top 6 finalists, and and in the meeting that I had with the producers after they announced this, I was like, oh, so did me resending my 2-page pitch help? And then their reaction basically suggested that had I not done that, I wouldn't have made it as a finalist. So if anything, trust your instincts, guys.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah, and don't let any opportunities slip from your hands. Like if you have that one shot, just always ask for forgiveness and not for permission. Because had I asked, oh, can I resubmit it, they would have said no. So that's why I just sent it to them. I was just like, hope this works for you guys. And then the final funny story of the process, because the stages where the initial submission, 2-page pitch and 10 to 15 pages script, then the second submission of redoing the 2-page pitch after having the workshop where they kind of taught us how to do better log lines, how to do a stronger synopsis, how to pull together a treatment. I mean, what goes into a treatment and then what also is good for a pitch. And then for the final stage, they gave us script editors, the top 6 of us, to pull together a 10-page prose treatment, which was just basically the whole film condensed into 10 pages. And for me, that was like my first time working with a script editor. So it was a really like valuable experience. So I was just like, regardless of what happens next, I've learned so much from this experience and working with a script editor that it's made this whole thing worthwhile. So we worked with our script editor maybe for I feel like it was from November to December, so about 2 months. And we did our 10-page treatment and then also redid the pages of script because my story idea changed a lot with the script editor. So I definitely had to redo my sample script because the first submission wasn't relevant at all anymore. And the final funny story of my my journey in this competition was that just before the submission, or kind of like the date that my final submission was due, fell onto a trip that I booked to Brighton, and it was my only holiday of the year, and so I felt awkward to tell my script editor because I was just like, oh, I should have known it would clash, and I don't know, I was just getting unnecessarily worked up. Then I just said that I just have to submit it early, and I remember the night before I went to Brighton, I basically stayed up all night after a full day of work because I still work 9 to 5. And I basically shut my laptop on Friday, and then I stayed up all night up until 15 minutes before my alarm rang for me to go get the train to Brighton the next day. And I was I was half dead, but I managed to submit it. And you know when you're working on something all night and you just don't know if your brain's working anymore. I submitted it. I just said, I'm not going to read over it. I mean, I read over it when I submitted it, but I meant after sending it in. I was like, I'm not going to go back and check on it because if I see a typo, I'm going to scream. So I just sent it in. I was just like, what's done is done. I did my best. And then when they announced that I'd won, I was like, oh my gosh. It was such a long journey, but it was, at so many points I was like, I don't even care whether I win or not because I've gotten so much from this experience.
That is a great.
That was my long story.
No, it was a good story. But I always like non-conventional stories because that's just how it is, you know. Because it also shows your talent. You know what I mean? It shows how talented you are as a writer, because the way you was able to
I,
get off the first round, okay, and still like that speaks volumes. That speaks so much volumes. That's great. You don't know how happy I was when I saw you post. I was like, yes, yes, I'm rooting for everybody
thank
black.
you.
So listen, yeah, I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is amazing. I like because I'd read your script, your work before, so I already knew how talented you are. I love the pacing of your writing. You're really good with dialogue as well. So when reading it, I can visually see it and could see the characters on screen. So the project I read before, I'm sure will get commissioned soon now as well after this. So that's
Fingers
great.
crossed.
I also know that you work in advertising. I know you mentioned that you still have a 9 to 5. So how has it been post winning the competition and then also managing, well, balancing your job as well? How's that been?
Well, I haven't fully started the movie commission just yet because we're still like in our contracting stages. But looking back to when I was working on the treatment and working with the script editor and working on the sample script, it was like it was long because because I was working. I mean, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people who've been working from home during the pandemic say that we've all been working longer hours, and I've felt that as well. Like it's just kind of like I don't know how it's happened, but it's just like we've all been working 9 to 7 instead of 9 to 5, and so I've been working longer hours at work, and then I'll be like tired, like "Oh, I just want to chill now." And then I'll be like, oh no, I have to go and spend another X amount of hours on my writing. And there were times as well, I hope no one from my work listens to this, but like I'll just I'll find quiet moments at work and then just switch to my script, my treatment. And yeah, so it was exhausting. I've learned from that now, when I'm going into full script commission, to make sure that I manage my time really well. And I think if I try and write before work, that will be good for me. But then also just, yeah, trying to manage my time at work, because we don't need to be overworking just because we're working from home. We don't need to be overworking just because we're not shutting our laptop and putting it in our locker and then getting on the train home. So I think making sure that I don't overwork in my day job will also help me to manage my time better, manage my energy and creativity better for my writing.
I can relate to what you said because as a producer,
Mm.
I'm listen, I've got so many projects going on at once, and I hope nobody from my job is listening. But I've had to like take separate Zoom calls or take separate calls or do other emails while I'm supposed to be working. But
Yeah,
you know, yeah, I mean, life doesn't stop, so I totally understand that. I totally get it because I feel like I've been working nonstop as well. Like I worked yesterday for my day job and then from home, and then I had to edit a video because I want to submit to a funding application, so it's like it consistently
exactly.
goes. So I definitely understand that. So have you been able to get an agent now? Like what's kind of like the status of your budding writing career?
So when it was announced that I got my feature commission, I thought, oh, let me use this to get an agent before I sign anything. So I was like, oh, should I start my agent hunt? So I was like doing some research into agents and stuff like that. But I got advice from people that it's better to be hunted than to hunt when it comes to agents. And um, the more the more you can do for yourself in terms of achievements, um, then the more likely the agents will come running to you. So even with this feature film, hopefully further down the line, when I'm meeting more people, and when more opportunities are coming, then hopefully I can meet more agents who will be actively willing to sign me, rather than me going out of my way to kind of like um, you know, chase them down, especially because they probably get loads of people, in their inbox like, oh, represent me, represent me. So yeah, initially I was going to use it, but I've changed my mind now, and I'm just going to try and get a few more wins and a few more, I don't know, just get more work myself, and then when my name's out there a little bit more, hopefully one of them will chase me down.
I'm sure it will happen soon because in one of the episodes, I think it's the fourth episode of this season, we got an exclusive of a writer who's recently been commissioned by Channel 4 to do a pilot, and she had been dancing around like agents for a while. None of them were really interested in signing her, but then when she got this opportunity to write for this Channel 4 show, then she was just able to contact an agent who was already interested in her a lot. And now she got signed. So she just was like, okay, well, because I was saying to myself, because I'm trying to get back into writing and stuff like that, she was like, you can get an agent when the time is right. Like if you're in the room, that's when you just need it to help you with contracts and all that stuff and negotiations. You don't really need it per se to get also always get into the room. So I think that's really good advice you received, because as soon as I feel like you get deeper into writing your film, that's when your agents will be calling, because more bit will be announced and stuff. Because it's funny because when
Yeah,
you were announced, I saw you on Broadcast, that magazine, right? So it's everywhere. So they
yeah.
should have been coming down, but I'm sure it'll
I
be.
mean, I did get one add me on LinkedIn, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure on that one. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I do definitely think hopefully further down the line of the process with this specific commission as well. Like maybe when a bit more noise is being made about it, when it's a bit further in the development process, then maybe yeah, maybe my name will be more out there for agents, but we shall see.
I feel like it will, because more people are going to want to work with you. You're going to be
Mm,
working with different producers who want to like maybe do like a TV show next or whatever. So I feel like it's coming. It's coming. Manifest it. Manifest, because it's
yeah.
coming. You can't do that and not do anything next. No, it's just your writing career is about to take off to another level. So you said that you had a really great one-on-one session with your script editor and stuff. What would you say is some of the best advice or stuff you gained from those sessions? Because I don't think writers realize how important script editors are and how beneficial they are to scripts. Because when I was working at ITV many years ago, there was a lot of script editors, and they would be up all night writing because there's so many changes they needed to make, and it was my job in production to run down and give it to everybody, even though I got dirty looks from them. But it helps move the story forward and change stuff. So what
Yeah.
was some of the best tips or advice you received?
Well, one of the biggest things I learned in the process was how most of the time, like when I share my scripts with friends and people I know, it's kind of like an echo chamber. I think that's the word. It's kind of like when I'm writing stories for people like me, then they're obviously a lot more likely to just be like, yes, this is what we want to see more of, blah, blah, blah. And it's like they get it. Whereas obviously working with someone kind of like outside of that audience bracket, it means that I get some more objective feedback, and it's kind of like it helps to be able to adapt the story so that it's more universally understandable and universally appealing. Because I remember in my earlier stages with the script editor, I was like, I remember the first meeting actually, I just left it feeling really defeated, because I kind of was like, I don't understand how I made it as a finalist when there's so much that's wrong with my idea. Because it was like, oh, this needs changing. Can you tell us more about it? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was this bad. but that like having all those questions to answer, and like having that kind of like scrutinizing, I don't know if that's the word, the like deeper analysis, and kind of like really really kind of digging out the purpose of every single little element of it, and making sure that everything's really understandable to everyone, helped make the idea evolve so much better. Because I obviously know what I want to tell, and I know kind of like the themes that are important to me. Like with this film, I just wanted to show like multifaceted blackness, which is obviously a really one of my key themes in everything that I write. But also I wanted to kind of like celebrate Black culture. And one of the ways in which the idea evolved was kind of like it was basically like Jamaican and Nigerian, two different families feuding over their cultures. And then I got the feedback like, but why would they feud? Like, this isn't in today's day and age. And I was like, well, it's meant to be like a comedy and it's just exaggerated just cause like and
I
then there
see a
were
lot of diaspora wars on
and
Twitter like all the time. So
yeah
it's,
and although it's like yeah we do on social media we do see kind of like these wars and stuff like that and um because it was more the older generation that had a really big problem with it
yeah.
and then they were like but the older generation in real life aren't as backwards thinking as you think and then I was just kind of like I was just like
Hmm, interesting.
I I know it's all subjective in many ways, but I just wanted to make sure that I could still either justify it as much as possible or evolve it so that it makes more sense. And then one of the ways in which I involved it was the two families now own restaurants. So then food's involved, and then food links to culture a lot. Like this like food has such a strong relevance in culture. And also it gives more reason for them to fight, like they're feuding restaurants now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so the idea wouldn't have evolved like that had I not had the script editor and had I just been left to my own devices and told, oh yeah, this is so good. Oh, we need a black film. Like to actually have someone sit down and say, but why? But are you sure? Like make sure the motivations are all strong enough to have someone like question everything and then give me notes and on character motivations a lot more was definitely really helpful and something I learned out the process is to not not take the criticism personally and to just make sure that you to make sure that you understand that it's coming from a place of we're all trying to make this better
yeah.
rather than like I mean, I didn't feel like I was being attacked, but as in like you just as a writer, you're just like precious over your story. You're just like, can you just tell me it's nice? when you you need to be really open to people telling you what's not working.
That's really insightful, and I think the
Mm.
listeners really need to hear that because a lot of the time we're creatives. We are going to be defensive and emotional over our
Mm.
work. So as soon as you criticize it, you're like, "Well, damn, that was a dagger to my heart." Like, okay, so I totally
Literally.
understand, but that is really good. Some really good points what you said about
Mm.
really emphasizing it and trying to show that comedy of the diaspora wars because if you're not from our culture then you won't understand it. We will get it because we're black, we understand them like, okay, yeah, it's dated, but we understand the banter between that. But then how can you take it to another
Mm.
level? And that's how it gets to a broader audience for them to understand that because sometimes I think it's all about a business and the market, isn't it? So it's just like, how could you
Mm.
market it outside of Black, African, Caribbean audiences? What about white, Latin people, white Europeans, whatever? So totally get that. So that sounds really good. Good. So I'm getting more excited to hear, well, watch your film.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. So who are some of your inspirations, like people, writers you look up to? Who are some of them and why?
I mean, my most obvious is Issa Rae. She is literally my phone screensaver because she she's an example of like of bringing different black narratives to the mainstream. Like I because obviously a lot of black narratives do tend to be kind of rooted in trauma or in crime or in poverty, and it's like Insecure is just this goofy a goofy black girl basically like me um and it's like relatable because it's there's I feel like every black story is valid but it's like we just want more like we want more different types of black stories and more representation and I feel like she does that um because there are so many different black stories to be told and I feel like she brings that. And also the dark skinned female representation.
Yeah.
That's something else. That's something else that needs to be said. And
Yeah.
that's what she does is increases that dark skinned female representation. And yeah, I mean, like I said, she has a close place in my heart because she's a goofy black girl, an awkward black girl, as she says. And I can relate. And we need more of those on screen, which is what I try and do, but the Black British version. And then another obvious one, because I'm just gonna name all the Black women, Michaela Coel, just because as well, knowing about her, I mean, I try and learn from everyone's story of how they came up, because there's all such different stories. But even like, I feel like I can relate to her in how she got her TV commission when she had never written a pilot before, and then I've got mine, my film one, and I'd never written a feature before. So it's kind of like your journey can start anywhere, anyhow. But it's what you do with the opportunity on what happens next. But yeah, anytime I just see Black women winning, it's a win for me.
Amazing. No, I mean, lots of people have said the same thing, and it's understandable because they have really brought the representation Black women want to see. And especially you had so much of, because I saw a tweet yesterday actually of how there was so many dark skin representation in the 90s and like the
Yeah.
70s. What happened from the 2010s? It just kind of went down this hole, and
Yeah,
now
exactly.
don't get me wrong, it's fine. Yes, mixed women, white, lighter skinned women, they're still Black, but it's just darker skinned
Mm,
women. It's just like they're nowhere to be seen. And it's so
yeah.
weird how colorism has really gone to the forefront when it comes to this industry. So it's good to see it's coming back. Insecure, yes, it's ending with season 5, but she's got a
Oh.
new show. I know. She's got a new show coming called Rap Shit, I think it's called. Yeah,
Yeah.
got coming, so I
So
know
she's
that's
got
gonna have
something new.
more representation. I know Yvonne Orji's got a show coming on Disney Plus soon.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's we're here, so it's coming. So it's just the Black British we need to catch up. So that's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I feel like in America they have more different types of Black stories being told versus in the UK, most of our Black stuff is basically Top Boy, Blue Story. Like we don't have as many Black stories. Um, so yeah, I feel like the African American had I feel like America has a lot more diversity in their Black stories versus the UK at the moment. Um, so yeah, we are growing, but there's always work to be done, and that's why as well that a lot of the Black actors go off to Hollywood because they want to be boxed in into certain roles and certain stories, and you know, yeah, like John Boyega being able to be in Star Wars, and Daniel Kaluuya being able to be in a film like Get Out, and yeah, we just don't have as much opportunity here, which is why we need more writers and more people behind the scene who are diverse to bring those stories for the Black actors to have more diverse roles.
I agree. And I feel like it's getting there. Just like you winning this
Mm.
competition, so many more, like even Channel 4, they've got this whole new Black talent thing they're building now. I applied, so I was like, yeah, okay, get me in. Like, because people, I think, particularly with last year with George Floyd and the whole Black Lives Matter movement being at the forefront
Mm.
last summer, I feel like they're finally listening and understanding that there is value in the Black market outside of America, but worldwide, and how influential Black culture is on pop culture. Do you get what I mean? So
Literally.
yeah, and I feel like it's slowly changing because Amel Amin, he wrote and I think he wrote and directed the first Black Christmas movie last year, so that's coming out soon. I think it's called Boxing Day, and so I'm
Is
looking
that the
forward.
one that has Leanne from Little Mix in it?
Yeah, and Adrian
Yeah.
Ayomi from How to Get Away with Murder is in that as well. So
Oh.
yeah, so that's hello, dark skin representation. Yeah, a
Mm.
normal Black romance film. Yeah, because we all have successful Black marriages. Like we can see that.
Literally.
So yeah, so it's coming, it's coming. So yeah. So
Mm.
outside of your new film coming, what else have you got going on that you can share anyway?
Nothing worth saying just yet. I just have been continuing with my writing in the background, although I have slowed down a bit over the last lockdown. But yeah, I definitely been applying to stuff the same way that I usually would and that I did before I got this one. So yeah, I just look for opportunities and then write for them, apply for things.
Cool. And where can people find you on like social media and stuff to keep up to date with, you know, your film and stuff like that?
I should post more about my writing on social media. But my main account that I use is my Instagram, which is at Funmi FUNMI __. But yeah, I definitely will start increasing the what I put on my account in terms of writing. For a while, I actually tried to keep it hidden till I started making some movements because I didn't want to be running around saying, yeah, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do this. And then it not happen. I was just really paranoid about that. I was just like, I want to be making moves before I start posting it.
No, I totally understand. Like people always say to me, "Oh, you're so busy, always doing stuff." Yeah, I've always got stuff going on, but I only post when it's like time to post. Like, yeah, okay, it's ready. Because I understood the whole value of like building an online brand. That's just how it is. That's how I've been able to have so many different opportunities because the internet is so powerful and so big. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like that. I like to only share when it's time. I don't want to be, oh, I've got this idea, yeah, and then it falls to the
Yeah,
side. Like, no. I totally understand. Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, I do think I'm getting to a point where I can post more, so I will.
cool. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. For me, it was great hearing your story, and it's literally just the beginning. So we'll probably have to have you back to find out what's next. And don't forget to invite me to the premiere because I want to see the film.
Of course. And
Amazing.
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Follow me all on the usual social media platforms at Kashif Booth. You can find me everywhere. Thanks again, guys. Bye.